Recently, you received an invitation to an undisclosed location revealed to you now as the Reintegration Station, Center for the Reestablishment of Your Own Psycho-Spiritual Wholeness. Think of it as a playground where you're invited to explore what power and control really mean for you, what medicine works for you, and what does self-work really need?
The onboarding process is initializing. The onboarding process is initializing.
From you, from me.
Your therapy begins in
'All these effects are going to be like replaced. Delays and reverbs are all lazy.
What I'm doing here is I'm making the medicine. One part childhood trauma, 2 parts past relationship shame, and a drop of the essence of failed peer review.
peer review.
Our solutions are based on the homeopathic principle of like cures like, and they taste very good. You see, we've harvested the struggles of those who've visited the station before, searching, 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 searching. 10,000 units of measure to ensure that only the finest pearls of pain make their way inside the station. Here's one now, comes with documents. Social Security, blood type, birth chart. We don't need Social Security, blood type, birth chart. We don't Social Security, blood type, birth chart. We don't need them. We don't need them. Why not? Would you like to play my game? What game? I said, would you like to play my game? What game? They said, would you like to play my game? And I said, what game? And I said, would you like to play my game? And they said, what game? And they said, and I said, So I'm Anastasia Clarke, and we're here at EMS in Stockholm, and I'm working on a piece called Selfwork, and it is an audio drama using custom electronics and my voice, my narration. Okay, ready.
All right, go for it.
Okay, this piece, Selfwork, is driven by a max patch that sequences a library of samples, and the sequence steps are determined by amplitude peaks in an analog circuit called the crackle box, or my voice, depending on what I want. So right now I'm demonstrating with the voice. When I click this button, it means my voice is being used as a trigger for these 4 channels of audio that are then sent to the buffer sequencer. The sequencer is progressing through 10 steps right now in response to my voice. Open up this sequencer patch and you can see that these little candy buttons here they allow me to skip steps as well, so I don't have such an obvious correlation between the trigger and the resultant sound. It's kind of becomes unpredictable for me as a performer to hold in my head. So it's full of surprises, even though it's kind of predetermined and known. So why don't we listen to some of it? Another thing that you're hearing, we're gonna get some feedback, is that the samples are being played back at different rates. The sample rate change is also triggered by the amplitude peaks in the input sound source. So it's just going in a sequence, going from 1, which is a normal playback speed, to 6, which is really fast. So let's see what happens if we make it like 0.2 to 1. Now we're getting lower sounds. Other things that the patch has going on are some synth sounds and delays and effects that you're hearing. Those are the sounds that didn't change when I changed the playback rate parameters. I don't know, that's some of what's going on.
Like, what are these green?
Right, these are, so I've never done this again when I rebuilt new versions of this patch, but they were actually an option for me to take the triggered samples or triggered synth sounds and apply an envelope to them, which was useful because I could do this thing where you would see me playing this circuit that was triggering the sounds to change, and then you would not right away hear a reaction from the sequencer, from the sampler, whatever you want to call it. The effect of it happens after you've already moved on in your memory station, which for me 3.5 seconds is plenty of time to move on and be doing something else musically. This is like the routing matrix. Yeah, okay. So I have it labeled here, but it's so small. It's like the inputs, so we don't want that, we don't want that. And then I have like these, I don't know why I called it playlist channels, it's the sequencer. So that's just the raw sound with no envelopes applied. Woo! And then I have this little reactive synth thing that's just playing through a pitch sequence. And
Where? Here.
yeah, and that is hidden somewhere in the patch. I believe in here. What's going on here? And I've written a sequence of like 26 pitches that it just kind of cycles through and creates this key area that matches the sounds of the piece. So Max is organized as, or my Max patch is organized to have this main level patcher that has two views, patching mode and the presentation mode, which is if anybody else needs to hit go or do anything to my patch, this is much more easy for them to understand. So I'm going to go back into the way I built it, the patching mode, and I have what are called abstractions, which are like your own patch that you save and then you can reference from another patch, or sub-patchers, which are almost the same thing, except that you could like take, say, this patch right here. The other day I needed another feature, so I built it out and put all this stuff here to ramp between signal playback rates. Now I don't want to look at it, so I can encapsulate it. It's not really recommended to have so many things coming in and out of it, but just to demonstrate, I could say this is ramps for sig rates. And that way I can visually just have what I need available to me, and everything that I don't need can kind of be organized in its own little area.
Because then when you press on that, this comes up?
Yes, then you can double click it. If it's a sub-patcher or an abstraction, you can then edit and put it away again. There are lots of ways to talk between sub-patchers and whatever they are contained in, or each other. Some of them, I would never build a patch in this way again because I can't remember my connections a year and a half later. But like in my routing matrices, I use a lot of these send and receive objects instead of clicking between the output of a device or an object and the input of another one. You can say send and give it a name, and then in another patch, and then you connect your audio output to it, like so. And then in a separate patch you can say receive name, and now we'll see that the same signal is coming in. And you can do that with data as well. I think it's a different object. I think it's just S and R. But yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's a fun way to do things. There are a lot more complicated ways you can talk between patchers using variables. But I'm really interested in unpredictability in the compositional process. So even though the work comes off as very exacting and precise when I show something like my setup, it's precisely engineered to create possibilities for improvisation, and not knowing and not being able to hold in my mind all of the processes that I've set the computer up to do. And instead, my job in live performance then becomes to kind of exit engineering mode and react as a performer.
Thanks, dude.
Now it's working. Thank you. Now it's working. Yeah.